Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and welcome to another Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains cast list analysis. We just got the cast list for episode 10. We got, unfortunately, about the same exact summary we already knew, and to be honest, there's really not much interesting on the cast list. I'm still gonna go over it with you guys just for the sake of going over it, I guess, and maybe giving some additional thoughts that I haven't given, and to hear your thoughts specifically about what could happen in episode 10. So if you do not want any spoilers, click off this video right now. 3, 2, 1. So here it is. I will read you the summary first. Episode 10, Clash, Cyberus' Extermination. After activating a powerful skill and obtaining overwhelming power, Revolver launches a brutal assault and puts Playmaker on the defensive. Playmaker then uses Storm Access to obtain a card in order to turn things around. However, due to Revolver's tactics, the stage of their battle has moved to inside of the Data Storm. I still find it very interesting that if this duel lasts till episode 12 or 13, and Revolver's skill is Storm Access, which we don't know if it will be. It could be a more powerful version of Storm Access, maybe that he doesn't need his life points to be under 1,000, and he can still grab a card from the Data Storm, or something like that. And we don't really know, also, what's going to happen when we move inside the Data Storm. We've seen Yusaku, we've seen Playmaker a few times in the Data Storm, trying to, grab a card, and it seems like he's not only in discomfort when he's in there, when he's trying to grab a card, he usually starts screaming, and I imagine it's from either pain or just uncomfortableness. Maybe it's not, but the fact that they're going to be in a Data Storm for a long period of time, possibly for episode 11 and 12, where I think the most exciting part is it's just going to be those two. I imagine this duel is going to be televised, and the cameras I doubt are going to be able to get in the Data Storm, especially because of how dangerous it is. I mean, we've already saw Onizuka, we saw Go try to go in the Data Storm, not during the duel, but in a simulation, and he had no chance. He was kicked out right away, and Aoi stayed away from the Data Storm as well. So, and mainly, I guess, because their skills didn't have anything to do with it, we might learn here that you don't need a skill to grab something from the Data Storm. Maybe that's like a new thing, that every turn you get a card, or you can keep using your skill if you're in a Data Storm. Again, we just don't know what's going to happen. But the fact that in episode 10, 11, and 12, if they stay in the Data Storm, it's just going to be those two. It's just going to be those two talking. That would be maybe an ideal time for Revolver to take off his mask. And imagine if he reveals himself to be Kusanagi's brother at that time, and only Playmaker sees it, and only Playmaker gets the reaction that it's Kusanagi's brother. Maybe they talk. That could even be a point where if Revolver is doing this because he needs Playmaker's help, I mean, that's a possibility. When they're in the Data Storm, everyone from the Knights of Hanoi will not be able to know what's going on. And that's why I really do like the prospect of this. And that could be a time where Revolver says, what the Knights of Hanoi are doing are horrible. I only joined recently because my father was, the Revolver from 5 years ago, which is something that I believe. It might not be true, of course, and he can reach out to Playmaker and then, take off the mask, and Playmaker's like, oh shit, excuse my language, you're Kusanagi's brother. Something like that. That would be a cool reveal. That might happen later in the duel, not episode 10, because then 11 and 12, the duel's going to continue. And that's just a theory, honestly. That might not even happen, but the possibilities are kind of endless. The fact that the first time in this show when two characters are dueling, it's just going to be those two talking, assuming that the cameras are not going to be able to get in the Data Storm. Here's the cast. Yusaku, the AI, Kusanagi, Emma, Akira, Revolver, Kogami, Rook, Knight, Bishop. So the only notable one, Specter, is not in episode 9. He will not be in episode 10 either. You would think that the right-hand man of the Knights of Hanoi would be watching or commenting on the duel. I think it's kind of bizarre that Specter's not speaking in this episode. He wasn't in episode 8 at all either. I just think it's weird. This is the duel that they have wanted to get for the longest time, and the only member watching from the sidelines is Dr. Kogami, who is slowly becoming, to me, a very interesting character in this story, but almost a more important and interesting character than Specter, which is something that, I don't think anyone really saw coming. The fact that Specter is now taking a back seat these last 3 episodes makes you wonder, where is he? I mean, he could be watching and he could just be being a silent observer. That's still a possibility. I just think it's very interesting that he will not be speaking. I imagine Emma and Akira, I don't know why Akira would even want to be with Emma after how she treated him in episode 8, but I imagine they'll probably be together. Kusanagi will be watching from his truck, and it's interesting that we do have the 3 members of Soul, Rook, Knight, Bishop. They are not in episode 9. They could call in Akira, and maybe that means that Emma will not be with Akira, because I doubt Emma is going to, go to that meeting, even though Emma is clearly working with those 3, the Rook, the Knight, and the Bishop. So, who really knows? A lot of cool things still to happen. And see, even when we get a cast list like this, a very small one, and a summary that's not really any new, you can still it's just me, and I can overanalyze on one piece of line pretty easily. So, that pretty much wraps it up, though, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I wish there was a little more from the cast list, but clearly they are going to be focusing a lot on this duel between Revolver and Playmaker, which is definitely not a bad thing. I'm waiting for the episode 11 and 12 summaries to come out, which hopefully will be out in this week's Weekly Jump, which comes out Thursday morning. I'm really banking on that, because usually the podcast is out by now. I can confirm the 3 members of the podcast will be myself, BYG Agami, Dimsy's Domain, and It's Brad as HD, so 3 other Yugi tubers, and if you combine our subscribers, we are almost as popular as TGS Anime, so it should be a really, really fun podcast, a lot of star power, and I cannot wait, but I am waiting for the 11, at least the 11, and hopefully the episode 12 summary to come out as well. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I do have a video coming out, well, I have 2 coming out tomorrow. I'll react to episode 9 and the review, and then Thursday, Friday, I will be starting a new series. I already have the thumbnail, which you can see right here. I'm going to be doing it for all Yu-Gi-Ohs. I'll start with 5Ds, forgotten plot lines of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, the top 5 forgotten plot lines, and there are certainly a lot in 5Ds and in every show, so that'll be a lot of fun. That'll come out later this week, just like to keep you guys in the loop. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day. I'll talk to you down below.